Okay, so I think we'll just get started there. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar this morning, How to Rapid Order Entry for Sage 200. My name's Nathan, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Alan. Alan's been at Eureka Solutions for quite some time now, and he's our resident Sage 200 and add-ons expert, so he's definitely the best person to take us through this demonstration of Sales Order Plus today. Before we get started and hand over to Alan, I'd just like to ask you all a quick question, and just if everyone could take a quick moment and just put into the Q&A box, maybe let us know a bit about what you're hoping to get out of today's session. That would be great. Okay, yeah, so some people here saying they want to find out how to get a bit more out of their Sage 200 system, a few things like that. So that's great. Thanks everyone for taking the time to put that in. Just let you know, today's webinar is being recorded, so you'll get a recording of that after the session, so you can share that with any of your colleagues who maybe weren't able to make it today, if there is anything you want to revisit after the session. I hope you find the session valuable, and please feel free to put any questions in the Q&A throughout the session, and we'll try and get all these answered at the end. So without taking up any more of your time, I'm going to pass over to Alan, who's going to take us through today's session.
Thank you, Nathan. Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm Allan James, and I look after our add-ons for our customers and for our business partners' customers. And today we're going to look at Sales Order Plus, which is a rapid order entry system for Sage 200. It also comes with many additional features in and around Sage 200 that clients and users would use on a daily basis. So I have a short agenda. We're going to have an introduction to all of our add-ons. So it's just a screen just to take you through these add-ons and how they may help you. We're going to go over a full overview and look at the benefits of Sales Order Plus, how Sales Order Plus can benefit you as a user. We're going to go through a demonstration, and then we'll have a Q&A session all around the Sales Order Plus. Okay, so Eureka have been developing add-ons for many, many years, and all our add-ons are built on requests from customers. We don't sit round a table and say, what can we add now? We listen to our customers and add the functionality to the relevant packs for that solution. So we have the Plus pack, which is the entry-level product for Eureka, which has 90 additional features. Not all will benefit you, but many will. It's a pack of 90 features that enhances the whole commercials modules of Sage 200. And if you would like to have a look at some of the features in there, I will highlight some of the features within the Sales Order Plus process. But if you purchase Sales Order Plus, you get all the features in the Plus pack as well. Sales Order Plus is the next product that we're going to look at today, so I'll just skim over that. Moving on to Purchase Order Plus, which is, again, a rapid purchase order processing solution to enhance the buying or the generation of purchase orders within Sage 200. It has a rapid grid to allow you to rapidly add lines to a purchase order, or add lines from a previous purchase order, or add lines from historical purchase orders. It also has an additional feature that Sage 200 doesn't have, which is the ability to manage quantity break discounts on purchases. You may be aware of that feature in the sales order processing or the sales ledger of Sage 200. We've added it to the purchase side, so you can generate purchase orders and use that functionality. We also have a product called Stock Plus, which is generally focused on the clothing retail industry, i.e. shirts, clothing, suits, wedding dresses. However, anything that has a dimension, what Stock Plus does is it allows you to create hundreds of stock items automatically based on a dimension. So if I focus on a t-shirt, I might have multiple colors, red, blue, green, yellow, and so on, all at different sizes, and perhaps all at different styles. And what Stock Plus will do, it will look at those dimensions, create a style, and within that style, create hundreds of stock items based on that dimension. It creates the stock items within Sage 200 and allows you to treat these stock items like normal stock items. However, when we're generating sales and purchase orders, I can add these items to the sales order lines based on multiple quantities of each. That's something we can look at in the future. We also have a courier module. Courier module integrates with many couriers like DPD, Parcel Force, Royal Mail, FedEx, and many others, or a few others, which launches on the dispatch of an order. It will, in the case of DPD, it will send your consignment to DPD. They will then automatically send back the label and the tracking number, which will automatically go into Sage 200 and arrive at your warehouse to pick up the goods as and when ready. We also have a fixed assets module. We know Sage now has a fixed assets module. We've had this product for many years. Benefit to this product, it allows us to hold information on vehicles like when's the insurance due, when's the road tax due, when is MOT due if appropriate, and various other things. And it fully integrates with purchase order processing, so you can buy an asset and add it to the asset register, and allows you to dispose and add to an asset. Warranty, service, and repair. Anyone that sells something that they maintain after the sale, it allows you to track the assets. So we sell, let's say it's a fridge, we sell the fridge, it will create a contract for that fridge based on certain criteria that we'd create in the settings, like a 1-year contract, 2-year, or 3-year, and so on. We can thereafter track the renewal, send out renewal notices to the customer, and then bill directly through Sage 200 without having to key the order. It will automatically generate that based on the renewal information. We can also log repairs, so we can log a call out to the asset for repairs. We can add labor, and we can add stock items to repair the asset and issue job sheets and generate sales orders if generate estimates and thereafter sales orders if the clients want us to continue with the repair. AFD lookup and validate. We'll look at this in Sales Order Plus. This is an additional feature, an additional product that allows you to look up based on the AFD license you have. And we ask clients to deal directly with AFD to get the correct license that you want. You can have postcodes in the UK, postcodes UK and Ireland, postcodes UK, Ireland and Europe. It all depends on the contract you have with AFD. We'll have a look at that when we get to Sales Order Plus. And data exchange. Historically, the pre-Bisyncly, for those of you who have Bisyncly or in the process of having Bisyncly, data exchange is what we call the granddad of Bisyncly. We've had the product in the marketplace for 12, 13 years or so. We have many, many hundreds of sites. ultimately these users in time, and there's no rush, will hopefully move over to Bisyncly. Data Exchange is old technology. It uses CSV files and XML files, but some businesses like it's all local. It doesn't. It can pick data up from an FTP or an SFTP, but it's a more of a local integration. If you want to put data into Sage, then you can pick up that data from a CSV locally and import it into Sage. So what are the benefits of Sales Order Plus? It's sort of one-click processing. That's a bit of a marketing spiel, one-click processing, but it does save you time. Prior to me starting at Eureka more than 11 years ago, now nearly 12 years ago, I went to visit a few customers of Eureka. I worked at Sage for the previous 10 years before coming here. So I wanted to find out all about the products. And I met a customer in Bradford who told me Sales Order Plus saved him an employee a day. He had 6 people banging in orders into Sage over the telephone and via emails and whatnot. And he said it saved him an employee a day. So it's a big time saver. It's a rapid grid for processing orders. You can view all the info on one screen. So it makes the user more beneficial, more customer centric in answering questions for the customer. And I'll take you through that functionality. It does increase sales because we have a cross-sell pop-up option within Sales Order Plus. So when we're selling torches, batteries and bulbs might appear on the screen that will prompt the salesperson to sell additional stuff more than the customer originally wanted. It fully enhances the functionality, not only in order processing, all the way around the commercials modules, because it comes with a plus pack. There's more time to focus on your business. I just know it makes order processing slicker, quicker, and better than standard Sage out the box. Who have we got it? We've got it in pharmaceutical companies, software vendors, companies selling electronics, timber merchants, roofing contractors, and plumbing contractors, anyone selling over the phone, because it allows you with a headset to manually key everything in without having to jot a note and then after the phone call finish off the order. It makes everything all slicker and quicker, less chance of error. We also have in a few trade counter businesses and people selling building equipment or building materials, power tools, automotive parts, plumbing and electrical. We've even got it in a cash and carry in Glasgow, and they use Sales Order Plus. But so anyone selling over a trade counter, the way it focuses on the trade counter is we've got lots of printing options. So it can take the order and do the allocate, dispatch, and print the dispatch note. Depends how it's all set up at different printers. So it helps that process be rapid. So what issues does it solve? Users are nowadays tired with a cumbersome sales order processing in Sage, the add item. Or if we do use the rapid order entry in Sage, it doesn't give us the information we need for a telesale or a trade counter. And I'll show you that. Having to enter sales order after the customer interaction, which lends itself to errors. Difficulty in keeping on top of order entry during busy periods. Indeed, they might jot a note and say, oh, I'll enter that later, and then forget to enter it. Users having to come out of order processing and then go into another screen to ask a customer question. All this is within the one screen. I don't need to leave the order processing screen. Having to manually copy lines from previous orders. So yeah, so there's no adding lines from previous orders in Sage. So how does it work? It's a single environment for telesales users. We can give it to one user, but not give it to another. So if it's not useful for the role within the business, We don't have to give them that functionality. But generally what happens is it goes to everybody. Rapid functionality, rapid access to other parts of the system, allows you to upsell and cross-sell. It now comes with stock kitting as well as the Plus Pack. Stock kitting, I'll explain very quickly. It allows you to build a kit at order stage. We don't hold stock of the kit, but we have a stock item, say, bilge pump, and in that bilge pump there are 4 or 5 stock items. So when I add the bilge pump to the order and process that order, and I can build the kit at allocation or dispatch stage, when I dispatch the bilge pump, it will downdate the stock of the other items, write those items off, and sell the bilge pump at the sale price of the bilge pump. And it shows me as it writes it off, so I could create a write-off category, sold and bilge pump. So I've got a reporting process to report what I did write off and what was sold in the bilge pump. And it keeps this, we don't hold stock of the kit, they're all individual items. Happier sales teams and customers. Okay, so let's take a look at Sage 200. Okay. I want to first of all take you to the settings of Sales Order Plus, which will highlight a few things. We have a utility bar on the left-hand side of Sales Order Plus. This is where the features are, and we can switch them on and switch them off. Perhaps you might not want the creation of a new stock item for order processors or the creation of a new customer. So we can remove these if appropriate. The grid. We can make the grid within the order screen non-amendable or amendable. And here we have the features that are on the order line, and we'll go through each of these as we go. When we go into Sales Order Plus on a new order, it's defaulting to the Eureka Rapid entry line. But when we're going to amend an order, we might want to show values. We have many options of printing buttons or allocation buttons within here. We can save an invoice. We can create a back-to-back purchase order. We can save and dispatch. We can save, allocate, and dispatch. We can save and acknowledge if acknowledgement is switched on in Sage 200. We can print a picking list without saving the order. We can print a picking list and save the order. We can save, allocate, dispatch, and invoice. That's called complete order. But this is the part I wanted to show you. Everything I'm about to show you in sales order processing is also in quotes and is also in sales order pro forma. There's a historical purchase list here, and I've got it set at 90 days. The stock code lookup has been extended from the default 150 to 300. That's if you've got very common stock codes, and the only thing that's changed is maybe the last 4 or 5 digits. This allows you to see those digits. So that was just a bit of a move into settings. So let's go into Sales Order Plus. So the first thing we note is the utility bar on the left-hand side that allows the user to fly around the Sage 200 system, but still staying in the order. I'm going to pull up my favorite customer, which is Abby. So the first thing you note is the memo pop-up. That can be switched on or off per customer. An order processor can add to the notes, edit the notes, change the notes. But initially, it's just a memo pop-up for the customer. So for Abby, we need to take payment with order at all times. Okay, so we've got the utilities on the left-hand side. I'll go through each one of these as we go. there's lots of functionality in this screen at the moment. So, customer order number. There's two features here. If it goes yellow, it means we've used that customer order number before. So someone else may have already processed this order. So that's a good check. Also, excuse me, the system or Sales Order Plus will stop us saving the order if this function is switched on, where if we don't enter a customer order number, it will not allow us to save the order. So it will force the customer to give us an order number, and thus stop when we go to chase payment. They're not saying, "Oh, we haven't got an invoice," all that sort of stuff. So it keeps it all clean on adding the order to the system. We also have date request and date promised, and we can update these lines, and I'll show you that as we go, but we could change that. Rather than change individual lines, it will change the whole order. We also have attachments in here, so we can add a file, could be a PO, could be a drawing, could be a picture, could be anything. We can add it to a link, so if that document is updated, then obviously the link is updated. We have the ability in Sales Order Plus to take payment for an order on multiple cards. So they may pay £100 on one card, £200 on another, £300 on another, and so on. And this is where I'm going to show you this AFD. I'm going to take as invoiced here. So the AFD database needs to be purchased from AFD, and we can give you all that information and the contact, but it needs to be purchased direct with them. They're called the postcode people, but it's AFD. So having the use of the database allows us to add an address from this 18 million postcode database. So I'm going to put my postcode in here. I can search by, where am I? I'm in ML10. And you'll see as we're adding the postcode, it's narrowing the search. 6AU. So we add the selected address. I can then edit it if I wish. However I want to add it to the system. Now the Eureka AFD product allows you to add addresses based on the subscription you have with AFD, but it also allows you to check telephone number, if the telephone number is valid, if the email is valid, and also if the bank account and your own specific bank accounts are valid. So those 4 focused areas, that's all part of the AFD module. It doesn't come out the box with Sales Order Plus. It is an additional cost, and you have to get the subscription to access the database through AFD, and we can make that information available for you. So let's add an item to the order. So as you can see, I can see my free stock quantities, and I can change my warehouse if I want to from the order line. I can see my fulfillment method, and I could amend it on the order line. These are things you can't do in Sage. I see my free stock quantity. I add my order quantity, and here I have my cross sale. So if it was a torch or whatever it is, any specific additional items that I want the salesperson to prompt a customer, these items are linked to the blender, and it's a bit of a manual process to link them, but you can link them en masse. So we can say we'll have 2 of those, 2 of those, and 2 of those. We can also make lines mandatory. So if I had a mandatory line for this ACS blender, it would automatically add it to the order, be it pallet or be it any packaging or anything that I need to add a cost to. And you'll see they're automatically added to the order. So you know we're saving time selling more gear. Things to note on here, we've also managed weights. So we can see the weight of an order if it's important to you, and that the weights are based on the weight held for the stock items in Sage. Okay, let's look at the left. We can search for delivery addresses, and as we know, we can have multiple delivery addresses within Sage. And I select the delivery address that I want the order to go to, and that can be a discussion with the customer, and that's automatically set. We could create a new customer on the fly. So if the customer doesn't exist in Sage, I can, from the sales order screen, I can create the new customer. I can view an account inquiry. So this allows me to hold a meaningful conversation with the customer about their account. Like, how about paying your bill? You're 120 days overdue and you owe 16,537. We can also see their turnover and their busy periods. We can have a transaction inquiry. So we can view all the transactions. We can view invoices, we can view credit notes, we can reprint credit notes and reprint documents. We can view orders. So these are the orders that Abby has placed, and I can actually view the order back in September. This is what they ordered. So I've got all the information to hand. I can amend the customer account. We've currently got Bob in the short name. If for some reason Bob has left the business and we've now got Allan, save. Here we have Allan now in the business. We can view order templates. I don't know if you're aware, but Sage 200 has the ability to hold templates, order templates. It could be an order that's created weekly or monthly, and you can then add that template order to this order. We could create a new stock item on the fly. Not many businesses want that because it makes it look untidy, but we could if we wanted to. We can view the item details. Let's have a look at the blender. View the item details. So then it shows me information specifically to that highlighted item. I can see my analysis, nominal codes, suppliers of said items, so I can see my lead times, any alternatives if I've none in stock. There's my cross-selling item, locations, where the stock is, and the specific bin if appropriate, any attachments, any memos, any comments. We also have images. I've got no images, but we can add images. That's part of the plus pack, but we can add images to a stock item. There's my cross-sale items that popped up before. And we've also got a profit warning. So a profit warning forces our users not to undersell our products. That can be set at sales order stage. So we can't see the pop-ups. I just want to add that ACS blender again, so you see that pop-up. So I could amend the relevant warehouse that I'm supplying from. I can change my fulfillment method if appropriate, my free stock, and I put my quantity in here. And this is my, can you see that pop-up, Nathan?
Yep, yeah, I can see that.
Thanks. Okay, so we then can tick the relevant stock items and add these items to the order. And as I mentioned previously, the mandatory items would automatically be added to the order. So anything that must be sold when I buy a widget. So as you can see, I'm building my order up very quickly. So I'm now going to go back to the Blender. I'm going to view item details from within here. So I can view everything within here. I can see my suppliers of said items and my lead times, my preferred. I can see alternatives and see my locations of where the stock is and the relevant bin. I can see my attachments, my memos, any picking note and dispatch comments that I've added. I've got no images at the moment, but I can have an image against the stock item and send those images via email to customers. They're my cross-sell items and profit warning. So I have the ability to link a profit warning to a stock item, or link a profit warning to a product group, or link a profit warning to sales order processing. And at the sales order processing level, I can either stop the user or warn the user. So it's a bit of a guide to stop our people selling or underselling our products. So, and again, we could stop them if they're not making enough profit or just warn them. So we can set a specific percentage at sales order level, say 20% across the board. And then perhaps per product group, we can reduce that. Is it possible to change the profit warning from markup to gross? Yes, it's possible, but it would be development, I'm afraid. It is a percentage out the box. So if you wanted to change that to a value, yes, we could do it, but it would be there would be a development charge. And by the way, that profit warning is in the plus pack. Thank you, Laura. Okay. So we're building up our order nicely. We can view batch and serial numbers if there are any. So we just pick on one here. There's my serial numbered stock item. There are my serial numbers and the relevant dates and attributes. Amend item detail, so we can amend the stock item detail. We can view item balances. So this shows me the balances in the relevant warehouses, in the relevant bins per warehouse. Am I sold last period, bought this period, and bought last period. I can view the item history. So this is the item history across the board, not specifically with Abby. That is somewhere else down here. I could right click and send all that information to Excel. And I can filter it from a date to a date and filter it by warehouse. And I could print. I can view the item details from here. I can view purchase orders from here. So if I've none in stock, I can see when product is due into the system. I can view the item history. So this is the item history specifically for Abby. So this is the blender sold to Abby, the quantities, the unit price paid, any discounts, and so on. And again, I can export it to Excel. I can view the item purchase orders, and I have none currently. I can amend selling prices, perhaps not something you'd like on this menu, but I could, if I wanted to, change the selling price from here. So these add features here is adding lines to sales order plus or to the order very quickly. Preferred items. Perhaps to give you a bit of a guide, this was designed for a food supplier who purchase food, different types of food from their supplier, and they only purchased certain brands. So when, let's say, Abbey came up, it only showed them by product group what products they buy from this supplier, and we can highlight those preferred items and add those items very quickly to the order. We can look at previous orders. So from within here, we can look at previous orders right back to the year dot and select all or select some of the items within that order, and those lines will automatically be added. We can add special price items. I have none, but we could add special price items. Just your information, I have a brand new laptop, so I've got a sort of a virgin system. But also, please note at this point, if you add Sales Order Plus to your current system, you're going to see all the history. So all the orders that were placed previously that are in your system, you're going to be able to see those. So we can add special price items. Now, as you may not know, special price item is an item that isn't in a price band and specifically priced for this customer. We can look historically and we can see what Abbey has purchased historically. And if I just knock this back to sometime in the past, like 1890, January. So this is 1899, 1924. This is the accessories. Abbey has purchased from me on those dates. That was the prices they paid. So if I use the control key to add multiple lines, and I can use the last discount percentage or the last selling price or not. And those items are added to the system. Add by quantity and description. The customer and I, have forgotten the code. So we could use the Sage Wild Search percentage sign and say blender. And there's my blender there. Or it begins with a PRO. There's my two professional blenders. And I can add those items to the sales order. We also have a notepad. Now we wrote this for a specific customer. It may bring benefit, I don't know. But what it allows you to do is, if I just make the screen larger, it allows you to, rather than going in to add order lines into an order, then cancelling the order, it allows you to add items and put quantities in here and allow you to build up. I've got a line for it there. And what it would do, if I had a price against the expression machine, it would allow me to total it up and build up a total order value and then remove that order value by reducing the quantity. We can also search for items based on product group or search category or search value. So I just want to view my accessories. So that's my product group. And I could say, would you like a toaster, Mr. Customer? Yeah, I'll have one of those. What about a blender? Yeah, one of those. I will have a mixer. So you're just building up your order. Okay, we can add those very quickly to the order, as you can see there. We've also got the ability to add the free text line, the charge line, and the comment line to the order, rather than going show values, add item, and going into this second screen that you'll all be familiar with. Free text line, additional charge, and comment line. If I go free text line, test 1, 2, 3, £100, add line. And you'll see that line at the very bottom of my order. Okay, so we could save and print, as you probably recall all that's there, save an invoice. Not everybody will have every button at the bottom of the screen. I've only got a few highlighted. I've not added any of the allocate all, deallocate all buttons. There's other print buttons I've not added, but I can save, allocate, and dispatch. I can complete the order. I can create a back-to-back. This is a good point to show not everybody creates back-to-back orders. But if we do, the save and create PO is a Eureka function and not a Sage function. It's the save and generate function that is Sage's. It doesn't really have the functionality within out the box module to be functional. I print everything to screen. Here's my possible POs. Just make that slightly larger. Make it full screen. Okay, so you'll notice here, I could create a back-to-back order for a free text item. All I have to do is add a supplier and put a buy price. And I could, if I wanted to, add a delivery charge. And I could take things off my PO. I can amend. I'm going to change that quantity. I will now want 2 of those. I now want 6 of those. I now want 7 of those. I could actually change my supplier as well if, when I'm generating my order, mold's got none in stock, so I could change the supplier, which would change the cost if the cost prices were in Sage, or I could manually change it. I could change the receiving warehouse as long as it's linked to the stock item, and I could add carriage. So I'm going to just remove quantity. So here's my possible purchase orders. I'm going to view the top one. So there's my delivery, the £10 delivery, as you've seen there. Not the right one, Donald's. Just check that. And it's the top one, Donaldson, at tenner. There's a link to the sales order 5119. So when the goods are received, they'll automatically be allocated to that sales order. And I can always refer back to this link within the system to see where the original sales order came from. I just want to take you to additional features that come. There are 90, as mentioned, so you get the kitting modules, as mentioned before. You also get the 90 features of the Plus Pack. And these are all over the system. Like you can have a specific customer code. So this, we call it ACS Blender, but when Abby raise a purchase order to me, they call it a blender. So I can type in blender to pull up the ACS blender for Abby. I'll just quickly show you that. Sales order processing, sales order list, the order in full. I type in here BL, and it puts in the ACS blender. There was other things like stock code aliases. So the customer stock code only works in sales order processing, but stock code aliasing works all the way through the system. Anywhere with a stock reference or a stock field, you can type in the alias and it will automatically bring up your stock item. Okay. Okay, well, that in a nutshell is Sales Order Plus with a few additional features from the Plus Pack. There are much more to see from the Plus Pack. I guess, are there any questions?
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, we have had a couple of questions that have been coming in. The first question here is, can Sales Order Plus be switched on and off?
Yeah, so within the Eureka control panel, with all our products, they're added to a control panel. I'll just take it there just to show you. We have a control panel, and this is where the license is held. So whatever you're licensed for and the expiry date of your license, the relevant software will be ticked in here. And the license, we can enable add-ons per user. So you can give everyone the same functionality, or you can give a specific user specific functionality. Also, you can switch it off if you don't want to use it. I've got a few items switched off because they slow down demos. And you'll see here, just take add-ons, I'm going to remove that. You'll see here, I've got a few disabled. So it's just a case of ticking. Or we can list the modules per pack. So you get everything in the starter pack, everything in the plus pack. So yeah, switch them on and off as and when.
Thanks,
Any
Alan.
more questions, Nathan?
Yeah, there's another one here. In a sales order, can you amend a customer price list they are on mid-order and it then amends the prices?
Good question. Mid-order. Can I can't answer that question. I've never been asked that before. Can I change the pricing? I guess the only way I can, let me just add an order. So the blender, currently 265. Uh, No, it didn't change that price in the order. What if I add a new price, a new item? No, it doesn't change existing, but it will change new from the change.
That's great. Thanks, Al.
Okay,
Hopefully that answers that. One last question here at the minute is training required?
yeah, well, I would suggest that if a client takes sales order plus order, and you can see it's intuitive, but there are lots of bells and whistles and ticks and unticks, and experience always rolls out things quicker. We would suggest the following: half a day to install and set up, going through the setup features, and at least a day, maybe split over 2 half days to go through the day-to-day functionality and how to fit your business or how to fit Sales Order Plus through your business processes. So a day and a half in total, I would suggest.
Okay, great. I think this is just following on from the question we had before this, Alan. We have a number of price bands that we use for customers. I would be looking to amend the price band the customer is on to reflect it.
So let's go back to that. So we're looking to change the price band mid-order. If you were to change the price band pre-order, then obviously it would it would allow you to generate the order based on that price band. But I would suggest if you're changing the price band halfway through an order,
So,
I would suggest that you don't. Yeah, I
so
would suggest you don't change it. Yeah,
I think
change it prior to. Yeah, yeah.
it's by customer, I think, as opposed to product.
Well, the customer's linked to the
Okay.
price band, as we know.
Okay.
So if you're changing the customer price band, you're not processing an order at that time. I would suggest you change the price band before you start keying in an order. And if the price band changes halfway through an order, I would suggest that you restart the order.
Okay, thanks. I think that's all the questions we've got at the minute. So thanks everyone for coming along and joining. We will be sending out a recording from the session. So I just want to thank you all for your time today, and thanks again, Alan. We've got another couple of minutes left, so if there's any last minute questions, just feel free to ping those in the next few minutes.